Hey you guys, just a quick one just to say sorry to anyone who's worrying that I've been disconnected because of what I said. That's not true. My battery went. Um, and I just really do want to finish this because it's really, really important. On the live that I was on before, I was basically trying to talk about the battlefield of my mind that I've been through today to have to go through a complete changeover. I had explained, obviously, people know today is the day that my boys are staying at my mum's, and they're off tomorrow on an adventure with my mum, and it's the first time that I have been away from my boys like this. Dean has obviously taken them to the park or gone, down to the beach. Um, Probably no more than 2, 3 hours away from me. And my mum has been slowly having the boys on a Thursday for me. Well, not for me, for her and the boys. But I haven't known where my boys have been going. And one of the hardest things when Aaron and Faith were taken is I didn't know where they were. And it was very difficult for me to work with anybody when I didn't know where my children were, who they were with, how they were, when the only evidence that I was having of my children was that my children were dying. Their souls were dying, their heart was dying, they were no longer the little babies that I knew. And when they're writing reports saying they're coming out of their shell, I was watching my children lose who they were. And unless you have had a child taken from you for no fucking damn warranted reason and have to go through this, you probably won't ever understand how I feel. And if you have had children taken and not gone on to have other children, then you really won't know how I feel. People who've been through social and been institutionalized by social um, will have an idea of how that feels. And after 6 years of being here in Portsmouth and having battlefields with social and all the multi-agency frameworks, because they never ever ever write down that I am an EDS Asperger's mother, and that is it, masked dyslexia, and I have complex trauma from unlawful and unnecessary detainment. If they were to write this down, they know they have to bring criminal proceedings against Flintshire. When I first got here, you have to excuse me, my neck is really hurting. When I first got here, I thought that after the first set of social workers had gone through my paperwork and actually seen the misfeasance in public office, I thought the police officers were then going to sit next to me and go, look, we need to take your statement, blah, 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 blah. No, different city, different time. I have to bring the private prosecution against Flintshire County Council for the unlawful and unnecessary detainment. However, I've been through different stages of different social workers here. So please do remember this round with social. So I'm not on child protection. I'm dropped down to children in need while they did the diagnosis to see whether or not me and the boys really do have EDS. Even though they've already done this, but paperwork changes every time. There's never, you were born, this is your genealogy, let's carry this on, and then edit anything that's wrong. It's an open and closed case. So this little angel girl here, let me just cover up these two. The only other one on there is Faith. But this little angel came into the world on the 15th of December last year. So yeah, so not this Christmas gone, but the Christmas before. And I have been held by Portsmouth since, and I explained to the two social workers this and proved this today, because obviously every social worker doesn't get to see the previous paperwork. So then you've got a Dinlow mum trying to explain everything to somebody who, it's not personal, and it's not. It's like being in prison and guards changing over, or having a new guard coming in who doesn't know you, and it's so damn difficult to build that relationship up to the point that people know you. Why would anybody who knows you want to traumatise you or trigger you off if they know that you're dealing with something? I think my mum, after my live the other day, must have understood that me not knowing where my kids were going was going to cause me massive trauma. I'd have probably bombarded her with emails all night, wondering and stuff. So, and then even once I left, I think she was either watching me to see if I was going to attempt to go into her house, or she was watching me because she could genuinely see I just wanted to cry. And it was me that was leaving. It was me that I couldn't even sit down or chill, or, I was like stood at the door and even sort of asking my mum, like when the boys were asking me to show them their room. And I think I was so set off by seeing the school, and I'm thinking, God, is my mum trying to take my kids off me? Is Dean right? Da, 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 da. The social worker stood in my kitchen today and said, Kelly, I need to make sure that you know this. We are not trying to take the boys from you. We're not. We actually want to help you. Yeah, that's until you say something that they really don't like. No, what they mean is, when I have said I'm taking you to court for what you're doing, people have thought I'm bluffing. My trauma to go into court to do this is quite horrendous. Please know the only time I have ever been in court is having my children taken off of me, being gagged and committed to prison for telling anybody. I didn't go to prison, but I was facing committal to prison for 2 years for speaking out on social media about my children being taken. That's it. I've been to court for cannabis back in 2004. That's it. So I've never, and that was that's how Professor Bird got involved. So at the end of the day, that's trauma for me. So I felt that before I cut off and go and enjoy my time, that I really wanted to explain what I've had to go through in these 2 days. I'm not talking about what's gone on with preparing for myself with my boys going overnight, but preparing for myself that the social workers were coming to talk to me about my trauma. So my ego will come in to protect that trauma. It will go, these people even want to take this trauma away. And it will go, you're not taking my trauma away from me. It's like the devil's seated in you and it's not wanting to come out, but it's there. And if it sees somebody that's going, you're going to come and play with me, it's going to try to keep them away. So last night, while Josie was here, I was a bit ranty. I was like, they come through, they try taking my kids, because I was being wound up by the fact that Josie was facing an adoption, and I was angry and annoyed and pissed off. And also, maybe Josie needed to see that, to see how she's been and understand how to deal with speaking to social workers. It's like having to deal with a rapist, do you know what I mean? And before I go to work with them the next day. So, and they might not have raped you, but they might have raped somebody that you know, if it's a different one, do you know what I mean? Now, it was Dean that pushed for them to come to assess my trauma. They're not qualified to assess my trauma. They're not. And also the challenge is I've already been to adoption counselling. There's nothing that they can do for me, because adoption counselling is for people that have given their children up for adoption. There is nothing in this country for people that have had their children unlawfully taken. There's lots of campaigners out there trying, but there is nothing substantial that can actually help with parents like me. Most of people can't even deal with people like me. So until the social worker said that she was walking here, I was in total anxiety about the thought of 2 social workers being in my home with me and my 2 children, triggering me off. So slowly I've preempted exactly what my trauma has been, and I've made it clear that for 11 years I have been without medical care and a doctor, all because a doctor turned around and said that EDS is the easiest condition to claim to have. Now, prior to them getting here, and even this morning, I had told the social worker that I'm not happy with this. I don't agree with it. I feel set up. I don't like the fact that you're putting me in such a vulnerable situation. And not only that, with my children around, and when I am already dealing with the trauma with my children going to my mum's for the first time. And she didn't even know it was that day. She didn't even know whether it was next week. And she doesn't even understand Peppa Pig world, mate, in my world. You know, I'm not going tomorrow. It's just mum and my kids. That's trauma in itself. So because I have already had my son taken from me here in Portsmouth with two police officers and two social workers yet again, and the last time my child was taken, it was two police officers and two social workers. Brodie comes round on her own. She was coming round as two social workers. That put me in red, heightened state. Red rag to a bull. That said to me, whoa, hang on a minute. One for the kids, one for me. Okay, in a nice way. One for the kids, one for me. But then that worries me, leaving my children with somebody that could say something. She's already mashed up my kids by asking them how they protect themselves. So, and then they've worried about how they protect themselves because they believe that mummy protected them and now they've got to protect themselves. Well, I get that, but she didn't need to do that. I do that at the right time, in the right space. She's not a mum. She don't get it. I had already decided and already prepared that I had my £1 in my bank. That meant I could go to Asda and fill my car. I was going to do this last night until my mum emailed to say that she was going to put petrol money in for me to take the boys over. So that stopped me panicking because I thought, I don't need to panic. I know where my boys are. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, two social workers coming, mum packing for my kids to go to my mum's and all of this. And it's like, so I decided I ain't panicking about this. This is as easy as it's going to be. I see any police officer outside mine or any of these social workers. I had already decided that I was going to murder them all, leave them in my house, lock the doors, and get the fuck out of here before anybody could do anything. The battlefield of the mind. Could I do it? I don't know. If I felt that somebody was trying to take my kids off me, would I run now? I still can't, because I still have my court battle for Aaron and Faith. I have to prove my children were kidnapped. And they were. Not with any intentions for adoption, but because we do not have a medical support system and GPs are not stepping up for families with mental health, physical conditions and learning difficulties. It's not the social workers' faults, it's the GPs. It's the GP's fault. So today, after the two social workers had come, we've had a bit of a giggle about some of the things. However, I know that you can say something to a social worker now and they can go and have a meeting and call it on you later, which is what happened with Aaron and Faith. So until 48 hours have passed, Friday's gone, I will still stay in some form of anxiety and some form of survival mode. Hence why no police officers will come in my kitchen, by the way. That's not because of me, that's because of Dean. They won't come because they're obviously, Dean went to prison for defending himself and using a knife. No police officer will enter around any kitchen, and that's on record. So, but yeah, we live in a country where people don't feel safe, and we live in a country where parents don't even let the kids out on the streets, and it's not adults we worry about now, it's other kids. And it's very, very difficult to live in a place of fear and faith. I've told my kids everything's good, they're going to have a lovely time and they're going to be home tomorrow. And my head is going to go, what if one of us has a car crash? What if my mum crashes the car? What if I crash the car? What if, 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 what if? anything. Like, my mum's got spiral stairs in the house. You know, what if my kid falls down and breaks an egg? What if my kids run out in the road? What if my kids do this? What if my kids do that? And the horrible, horrible, horrible thing is, if you really dwell on something, the universe will come and knock upside the head and give you exactly what you're asking for. So you have to get rid of them thoughts. You have to. You have to. Not to dwell on them. But I had so much emotion after dropping Elijah and Shiloh off, because people don't understand that Aaron and Faith were taken. So I'd just literally come out of, and it was a DV relationship. I'd been out of it for a few years, and then I was obviously trying to get my self-employed right and my property right. And then I lost all that. So I lost Aaron and Faith and the home and the car. They took all of that from me. They took everything. They took Step Up Britain from me, everything. They took everything from me. And then I hit it with campaigning right up until that adoption was granted. And Hayden was killed, or killed himself, we don't know. And then I meet a man, and then I got a baby in my belly. And from then, all I have been able to do is be the person that keeps my baby safe. And in my hand, I don't have a knife. I got my court order, because I can't threaten you with a gun. What is it? Rock, scissors, paper. Paper is gonna win. I can't put my finger together. Have you noticed? I actually can't put it together. I'm not the sort of person. I probably could become a stone cold killer. If this place goes to a war, mate, and it's survival, and I've got to get round in my car, and I've got people coming to take my car off me, and I've got kids to look after, then yeah, I was going to shoot you dead. You ain't coming anywhere near my car. I'm talking about apocalypse, mate. Yes, you're going to shoot to kill. You're going to go into survival mode. That is obvious. I'm not the sort of person who could genuinely ever hurt somebody. I'm just not like that. I wince. I hate it. All I have is my paperwork. But once it's formalised, until it's formalised, which is what I'm going to be focused on literally now until my boys are back. And it will go really quickly. The judge will put the orders in. The orders will be nil and void for the Aaron and Faith. The compensation will be high. The media will want my story. I'll probably do about 3 days on media talking about it all, and then I will go very quietly away. And until I have proven that I have this condition that I live with, and it fucking hurts, and it's chronic pain, and our doctors and the NHS are failing us massively, and they are trying to privatise everything. And people here in the UK just couldn't afford it, mate. In Spain, if you break your arm, it's like $3,000 if you've no medical insurance. My scan that come through today is going to cost me £1,400. So I've got to find £1,400 plus the £350 consultation fee, and then the reading of it, and then whatever they decide is the treatment for it. You want to privatise your NHS? Really? The UK, protect the NHS. We just need individual indicative budgets. We do. And people need to understand that the service is there to make our life better, and it's not going to learn until we start speaking out about what it's doing. We don't have the correct system for pet families like us. We don't. I should be able to safely know that if I end up in A&E and I don't have anyone for my children, that a social worker will literally come and grab my kids and put them with foster parents who are really great, or take them to my mum's later or whatever. They could maybe even put them into some soft play area until we know what's going on, or the hospital has an emergency creche that they could have gone in, or emergency ward in that meantime, until somebody would have taken my children. That's all I've ever worried about. That's all I've ever worried about. What about my kids? If I die, what about my kids? If I have an accident, what about my kids? If I have a breakdown, What about my kids? If I have a meltdown, what about my kids? If I have a subluxation, dislocation, or get hit by a bus, what about kids? If these battlefields of the mind go on so much that I can't cope with it, and I do battle suicide, as you know, the only reason I ever battle suicide is the thought of being forced to live in a world that is just not me. That is hell to me. To be forced to put my children in the nursery across here, to go to the school here, for me to use the dance studio here and the gym here, and probably work at Second Chances here, and would be my idea of absolute fucking hell. But then I've just driven to my mum's, where the school's got acres and acres of land and horses around them and beautiful. And that's different. It's what you work for, isn't it? So for me at the moment, I have to work on my own mind, my own battles. I've got to get this sorted. I'm up. I actually have a Chiari. I have a feeling it might even end up with me in A&E tonight because I've no childcare. And I can go, yes, finally. Can we please go for this scan? I've got childcare. But the thing is, my mum's got to go back to work. Yes, there's a really cool school from across the road, and I'm getting really, really nervous. And I just can't allow for them seeds to come in. Would my mum try and take my kids from me? She's in a better situation to be a wonderful grandmother now, and she is. She's in a wonderful situation to be a wonderful grandmother. But I'm mum, and it doesn't matter what I go through. People should be there for me, because if you're there for mum, then mum can be there for the kids. And if people were there for dad, then dad can be there for mum, and a mum can be there for the kids. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. All I can do is say, don't worry, be happy, everything gonna be alright, and if it all fucking goes wrong, the Lord is strapped to my back, and whatever I go through, he will keep me strong. Because in my own flesh, mate, I'd have gone a long time ago, and I would have done. But Jesus rocks. The Holy Spirit is with me. I have my bad days, bad moments. And part of me just wants to go to sleep now until I pick them up. But with no bath, I can't go for a bath. I really want to go for a bath. Oh, before I go, guess what my mum's given me? Whoop whoop! Hang on. Yes! I got a fluorescent jacket! So, when I'm going out late at night and everything now, I'm going to have a fluorescent jacket on, and I'm going to be dancing around in a fluorescent jacket. I'm hoping it's got some of them reflective things on. Yes, it has. And the quicker I get completely, I really, 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 all I want for my bloody birthday is my fucking flashing wheels, but my mum's already given me some money, so I don't think my mum's going to buy me my roller skates. I don't know, maybe. I might ask her. So maybe I can make some money tomorrow and buy them myself. So, yeah, I really, 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 and if anyone's into TikTok, yeah, and you see a couple of these families that do it all in, that's what I was trying to do, and that's what I was doing wanted to do on the London buses when I was flash mobbing to do a lot of the campaigning. So if anyone has, I'm going to put a wish list up of all the things that I really want. And if anyone does want to buy me all the little flashy gloves or stuff, I will use them. And anything, it doesn't matter if it's flashy sticks, anything. It doesn't matter whether I'm going out on my roller skates or anything. Just, yeah, if anyone's got stuff like that they don't use or have tried and think, you know what, there's some really cool gloves and there's some really cool face masks and things like that. And I want to completely black up in fluorescence and keep pushing until eventually either my neck and back go and I go into A&E, or I get the right help and I can push myself even further. And I will be over on TikTok soon. I'll probably give it a go tomorrow. Who knows? So anyway, guys, whatever you're doing, have a lovely night. I think I'm going to go up to the fireside. I'm waiting to see what's going on with Dean. I've actually put his bag outside for him to get because he needs to get some art stuff. So I don't know. I think I'm going to probably just get dressed now and maybe head up to the fireside, maybe go up on my skates or something, and just go out for a bit. part of me just wants to sit down, watch a film, and start cleaning. My neck is killing me, and it really is, and it might even be stupid to go out in the cold. Don't know. Got a couple of hours to myself. I've got a whole night. And every time any horrible thought comes up that my kids need me, or, you know, maybe my mum can't do this, or what if they fall down the stairs? What if they run out in the road? What if they have a car crash? I just gotta let it go. It's just not my energy. Just not my energy. It's gone. So anyway, guys, it's my birthday on the 17th. I really, 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 really want to do this challenge for my birthday, and that is that I want to roller skate down the ramps. As it stands at the moment, before I go, I'm just going to grab it for you. Hang on. These are the roller skates that I currently have. They are too big for me. I got them for a £5 at Car Boot. Roller skates are really, 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 really expensive. If anybody ever got on any and then decided that they didn't want to, and you've got size 6, they've got to be quads. I have to stick with my quads for a bit. I will go inline, and I will go onto these 3 things, but there's just something in me that just wants to do something with the quads. And I want to go over the ramp on my quads, and I want to push some of these things. So I'll just do it until my neck finally snaps. I'll either end up paralysed, or something will happen. But, you know, oh, just before I go, let me just show you this quickly, and then you might understand where I don't want to go back to. So this is one of my kids' little flippy books. So, where is it? There she is. I don't know if you can see that, but that is me, and I'm sitting in a wheelchair, and I have sticks. So, and this is blessings to my old friend Kay, by the way. So, to Kay, that's Liam in the makeup room for, I can't think what this was. Was it Bernard's watch or something? So that's my friend Kay, who died just before Christmas. So yeah, there's a picture of me in a wheelchair somewhere. So anyway, guys, I'll catch you later. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful time. And just remember that we have 100,000 million thoughts a day, and not all of them for us. And if you're having a thought that's really, really, really loud and screaming at you, it ain't God. He is the quiet whisper. Just a very quiet whisper, your intuition. The rest of it, demons, battlefields of the mind. Once we learn to master that battlefield, life gets easier. But for me, mine's dealing with trauma, and it is genuine trauma, and it's not very easy to deal with. So I hope that helps people. I'm sorry I did 2 lives. I might come back on and off, I don't know, but I don't have my kids right now. I'm sure I'm meant to go and get pissed and take drugs and go dancing or do something, but it's not me. Before I go, actually, somebody said to me, oh, I haven't seen you for ages. What you doing? I said, I ain't got kids. He said, oh, what are you up to? I said, oh, I don't know. I'm going to go and get pissed and take lots of drugs like all of you people. I said, isn't that what you're meant to do when you haven't got your kids? I don't know. Don't know. I don't know. I can't go for a bath. I don't know. Gonna go out on my roller skates. See you later.